Humans can enhance themselves with cybernetic parts in the future, thanks to new advancements in technology. Hanka Robotics, a company funded by the government, is taking this technology to a new level by transplanting a human brain into a fully synthetic body. The first patient to undergo this procedure is Mira, who wakes up in the lab with no memory except for drowning. Dr. Owlett, the scientist in charge, explains that Mira's body was heavily damaged in a cyber-terrorist attack, but her brain was unharmed. Therefore, while her shell is synthetic, her mind and soul, which Owlett calls the ghost, are completely human. However, Mira experiences a panic attack and needs to be sedated, prompting Owlett to talk to Cutter, the company's CEO. Cutter disregards Owlett's objections and wants to use Mira as a weapon. A year later, Mira is a major in the Counter-Terrorism Bureau Section 9 under Chief Aramaki. Her mission for the day is to monitor a business meeting between Hanka's representative Dr. Osmond and an African ambassador, who are being served by Geisha-bots. However, a group of men in black interrupts the meeting and starts killing people and robots. Since Batu, Mira's co-worker, has not yet arrived with the backup, Mira disobeys Aramaki's orders and decides to intervene. She uses her body's cloaking device to become invisible and jumps through the window just in time to see the Geisha-bots attacking everyone in the meeting. A mysterious man known as Q's is controlling the bots and orders them to hack into Osmond's mind. Mira destroys all the men in black and the Geisha-bots with great speed, but one of them warns her to collaborate with Hanka Robotics and be destroyed before she shuts down. When Batu arrives with the rest of the team, he notices that Mira has a wounded arm, which is a rare occurrence. Mira recharges her synthetic body at home and experiences a hallucination of a cat. To prevent her brain from rejecting her cybernetic parts, she takes a special medicine. The following day, the team gathers to discuss the murder of 3 more Hanka scientists at the company's central laboratory, all of whom showed signs of cerebral hacking. At each crime scene, the culprit, Q's, left the same message: collaborate with Hanka Robotics and be destroyed. After assigning new tasks to each agent, Aramaki scolds Mira for her recklessness and reminds her that she is more than just a weapon. Batu and Mira head out together for their next job, and Batu takes the opportunity to ask about Mira's personal interests. However, Mira admits that her mind is foggy. While en route to the labs, Mira experiences a hallucination of a Japanese hut. After meeting with Owlett, Mira has her wound fixed and shares her concerns about the glitches she's been experiencing. Owlett deletes the glitches from Mira's memory and reminds her to take her medicine. Mira and Batu then visit Dr. Dahlin, who has been investigating the Geisha-bots for clues. The Hanka companion bot was reprogrammed for cerebral hacking, and its data was destroyed after Q's logged off its drive. Despite the risks, Mira decides to take a deep dive into the Geisha's drive to retrieve any information. Batu warns Mira that she would expose her mind to Q's, but she believes the mission is worth it. Dahlin connects Mira to the Geisha's drive, and Mira witnesses a data recreation of the night of the attack. As the images begin to deteriorate, Mira discovers Q's examining her own body. Suddenly, Mira is surrounded by aggressive black shadows, representing Q's attempt to hack into her mind. Dahlin is unable to disconnect Mira due to Q's protection, so Batu forcibly removes the wires. Fortunately, Mira regains consciousness and knows Q's whereabouts. In the evening, Mira and Batu head to a Yakuza nightclub renowned for its black market merchandise. Batu is stopped by bodyguards, and he pretends to be there solely for drinks, while Mira poses as a buyer looking for merchandise. The Yakuza take her to a private room and handcuff her to a dancing pole. The boss, who can tell that Mira isn't entirely human, begins electrocuting her to make her talk. Batu realizes that he can't communicate with Mira because her signal is being blocked. Since there are no leads, Mira employs her great strength to beat up the Yakuza. Batu is also confronted by the Yakuza, but when he hears Mira's commotion, he starts fighting as well. After dispatching all the bad guys, Mira enters the back room and sees the Japanese hut hallucination from before, now engulfed in flames. After the glitch disappears, Mira encounters Q's, who repeats his usual message before vanishing. As Batu arrives, Mira realizes that it's a trap and pushes him out of the way before a bomb detonates. Hours later, Mira awakens in the lab, where Owlett explains that she absorbed most of the blast, but Batu lost his eyes. While repairing Mira, Owlet detects numerous glitches, and Mira acknowledges that they've been worsening since the deep dive. Owlet is concerned, but Mira claims that the glitches are insignificant to her. Later, Mira checks on Beitu and discovers that he has received new cyborg eyes that have endowed him with new abilities such as X-ray vision. Meanwhile, Cutter expresses his displeasure to Aramaki about the damage Mira has sustained recently, but Aramaki reminds him that he is accountable to the Prime Minister, not Hanka. In the evening, Mira is uneasy about her own body due to the glitches. She hires a human street worker to touch her skin and learn more about the differences she experiences. At the lab, Dahlin examines the Geisha's system and uncovers a file labeled Secure Project 2571. She's abruptly interrupted by Q's, who sneaks in, prompting her to save the file in a memory stick and conceal it in her hand before Q's kills her. The following day, Mira and Beitu investigate Dahlin's murder and discover the memory stick. Upon examining the file, Mira finds a list of individuals who worked on Project 2571, the same information that Q's had stolen from Osmond, and was now using to eliminate everyone on that list, including Owlet. Mira urges her team to locate Owlet. Meanwhile, Q's hacks into the brains of Lee and another sanitation worker, forcing them to drive their truck into Owlet's car. After shooting the driver, they catch Owlet as she attempts to flee, but Mira and her team intercept them. Beitu kills one of the workers, and Lee escapes by turning invisible. Mira tracks him by following his footprints in the water, and he becomes visible again when he reaches the river, as Q's is no longer controlling him. Mira becomes invisible and begins to assault him, but Beitu stops her from killing him, stating that they need to interrogate him. They take Lee to their headquarters, where he denies knowing anything. It appears that Q's has wiped his memory, and Lee's brain has fabricated a new reality. Suddenly, Lee's demeanor shifts, and the team realizes that Q's has hacked into him again by using a lie detector. Once again, Mira disregards Aramaki's admonishments and enters the cell Q to demand answers, but Q's simply asks her to come see him. The team manages to trace Q's location, and Q's disconnects, leaving Lee in such a poor mental state that he takes his own life. The team then enters an abandoned building, where they discover dozens of people linked mentally in the same network. While Beitu and the others engage in physical altercations, Mira delves deeper and discovers that the network is formed by the minds themselves, which is why Q's is difficult to find. Mira scans her surroundings and notices the Japanese hut hallucination once more, this time ablaze with people being dragged away from it. The glitch fades, and someone strikes Mira from behind, causing her to retaliate. In the struggle, she is tased and rendered unconscious. Moments later, Mira awakens suspended by a brain connection, while Q's observes her. He reveals that he sensed a connection between them when Mira used the Geisha's data and realizes that they share a common origin. Owlet lied to Mira about being the first brain in a synthetic body. Project 2571 conducted similar experiments on dozens of people like Q's, all of whom were discarded when the experiments failed. Mira's body is only successful due to the lessons learned from their past failures. Q's escaped disposal and wants revenge, which he considers self-defense, but Mira believes he is a killer. He disconnects Mira as he provokes her into attacking, but she discovers that her weapons have no effect on him. Mira then notices a tattoo of the hut on Q's chest, which he cannot identify, but haunts him similarly to her. Q's claims that the medication they receive suppresses their memories, and urges Mira to stop taking it to discover the truth. The team arrives, and Q's flees. Ignoring Beitu's orders, Mira chases him. Later, Mira confronts Owlet at her apartment and compels her to reveal the truth. There were 98 failed attempts before Mira, and Owlet knew but did not question Cutter's disposal of the bodies. Mira learns that her memories of drowning and her parents' death are fabricated to encourage her to fight terrorists. Distraught by the revelation, Mira runs away and disappears. Aramaki tasks Beitu with finding her, so he searches the river where Mira enjoys diving to escape network signals. As Mira boards, Beitu assures her of his trust and brings her back to the city. Meanwhile, Owlet informs Cutter of Mira's knowledge of the truth. At the harbor, Mira discards her medicine, only to be surrounded by Hanka guards who arrest and take her to the lab. After being sedated by the scientists, Mira sees a hallucination of two desperate patients reaching for each other before falling asleep. Moments later, Cutter orders Owlet to eliminate Mira for being a terrorist. Owlette refuses since Mira isn't a failed model, but Cutter threatens her into submission. In order to distract Cutter, Owlette injects Mira, but uses medicine instead of poison. Owlette then gives Mira an address containing information about her past and enables her escape. While beating up every guard she encounters and exiting the building, Cutter kills Owlette as punishment. Later, Cutter meets with Aramaki and falsely accuses Mira of killing Owlette, demanding that the team pursues her as a criminal. No one believes Cutter's story, so they must devise a plan. In the morning, Mira visits the address Owlette gave her and finds the cat from her hallucination. The cat belongs to Harry, who invites Mira in when she notices the cat's fondness for her. Inside, Mira discovers a figurine of the hut in an abandoned bedroom. Harry explains that the figurine belonged to her daughter, Motoko, who died a year ago. The Ministry sent Harry her ashes and claimed that Motoko had taken her own life. But Harry never believed it. Motoko had lived happily in the lawless zone with her friends and had written manifestos about how technology had destroyed the world. Harry admits that Mira reminds her of her daughter, making Mira realize that her brain is Motoko's. Overcome with emotion, Mira runs away and contacts Aramaki, recounting the entire story. Aramaki trusts Mira's story, but without evidence, they can't prove it since Owlette is deceased. This revelation makes Mira enraged, and she implores Aramaki to broadcast their conversation so Q's can find her. Aramaki pledges to meet with the Prime Minister to hold Cutter accountable for his wrongdoing, but Cutter eavesdrops on their exchange. Cutter dispatches Hanka guards to attack Section 9, but Aramaki anticipates their arrival and eliminates them effortlessly. He then alerts his team, who dispatch the remaining guards with ease. Meanwhile, Mira enters the lawless zone, and both Q's and Cutter track her movements. In an abandoned alley, Mira locates the burnt hut, prompting a flood of memories to resurface. The Hanka guards targeted the rebels deliberately to stifle their anti-technology campaign and obtain test subjects for their experiments. Q's arrives and realizes he was complicit in this scheme, and Mira discloses that the graffiti on the wall, which reads Motoko and Hideo, are their true identities. Q's invites Mira to join his network and exact revenge, but a bomb explodes, prompting Cutter to dispatch a specialized tank to hunt down the cyborgs. Mira retaliates by firing upon the tank, which causes the floor to collapse, and the scanner indicates that she is deceased. The tank subsequently targets Q's, but before it can fire, Mira reveals that she has been cloaked and jumps atop the tank to destroy it with her bare hands, resulting in the loss of her arm. Q's once again implores Mira to leave with him, but Mira declines, believing that she belongs with Section 9. Their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of a Hanka helicopter, and Cutter's sniper shoots Q's. Cutter then aims for Mira, but Aramaki's sniper intervenes, causing the helicopter to crash. Batu arrives and Mira assures him that both the Major and Motoko are alive within her ghost. Meanwhile, Aramaki goes to Cutter's office, and, with the Prime Minister's authorization, he kills Cutter for his wrongdoing. Several days later, Mira visits Motoko's grave and encounters Harry, who finally recognizes Mira's true identity and embraces her, acknowledging her as her daughter. Subsequently, Mira reunites with the team and resumes their mission of ensuring the city's security. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay on top of all the latest recaps and never miss a beat. Thank you for watching.